Recently, I had an opportunity to view the children's movie Ugly Dolls. As all parents would and should expect all children's movies to contain global homo propaganda. This entire movie was, from the start to finish, anti-white meme pathogen and globalist propaganda. It is a story about dolls rejected at the factory for having flaws and getting sent to Ugly Town. This is a place where all the rejected dolls live in a utopian world, free of any cares or worries. Until one doll, Moxie, gets curious about the tube they entered the town from and decides to lead a group of friends out the tunnel to discover a dystopian world called perfection, where dolls are required to be perfect, a world run by a doll named Lou. First off, one would notice the mandatory meme pathogen of all the cool and fun characters speaking Ebonics. This is to make sure right off to instill into white children that they, their people, and their culture are boring, uninteresting, and not fun. There is a mantra spoken relentlessly through this movie. It's our differences that make us shine. This is basic globalist indoctrination. A piece of code placed into a young child's mind that will later help them accept without question that diversity is our strength. Upon entering perfection, you will notice all the dolls are dressed in private school uniforms. This too is a meme pathogen to establish right away who the bad people are. That only bad, intolerant, and bigoted people reject government-run schools in favor of private schools. We are then shown 4 dolls who are the stereotypical ugly, snobbish, intolerant, and catty cartoon personalities that are always attributed to white girls and who immediately look down upon the ugly dolls with disgust. They do not hold it back at all. You know immediately, without question, that these girl dolls are not to be trusted or even liked, except one, Mandy, who immediately shows us she is only being mean to go along with the group, that secretly she does not hold negative feelings for the ugly newcomers, but just doesn't want to speak up. You see, these 4 dolls consist of 2 white dolls, a slightly tan doll, and Mandy, the black doll. We are then introduced to the head doll, Lou. Lou is a charismatic white doll with blonde hair and blue eyes, and is loved and adored by all the other dolls. He treats us to a musical number that is all about striving for perfection. That in order to move on to the real world and be united with a child, you must be without flaw and pass a test called the Gauntlet. And they enter this world through a portal depicting the Vitruvian Man. They don't even make an attempt to hide that this entire movie is an allegory for white racial purity. Even the Vitruvian Man depiction on the portal was deliberate to the message, as it is a drawing by Leonardo da Vinci based on ancient Roman text, mapping what the ideal body proportions are for European people. Upon seeing the ugly dolls, he tells them that they have no place in perfection and need to go back where they came from. This is where the ugly dolls tell him about Ugly Town. Lou decides to give them a chance to stay and attempt to pass the gauntlet in an obvious act to make an example out of them. But we are soon shown Lou is now plotting to eliminate Ugly Town because, as he tells us, there's no place in the world for ugly dolls to even exist. This is a meme pathogen designed specifically to put an initial coding into the children's minds that anytime white people have an ethnic homogeneity, they will always seek total domination and the complete genocide of everyone else. This is because white people are inherently evil and must never be allowed to have power, even in their own spaces, because if they are, they will come for everyone else. The ugly dolls are then put through rigorous testing, which Lou sabotages endlessly to ensure that they become discouraged and fail. And with every failure comes a never-ending punishment of the washing machine. It isn't long before the ugly dolls get help from Mandy, who, as we knew right from the start, was not like the other dolls. This black doll does not share the other dolls' ideology for perfection, because she is different than them. She wears glasses. Soon we are given another musical number with Moxie and Mandy standing on mirrors suspended in space. More mirrors rise up around them, and what I will concede is an amazing light show conveying the powerful emotions of the song. But it is a song about rejecting perfection, or rather, white racial purity. This whole dance number is an allegory meme pathogen placing the code into the child's brain that seeking to make themselves imperfect makes them more special. That they should want to destroy their white identity and their own white DNA in order to ensure it has no perfections. Because as we have been told time and time again, it's our differences that make us shine. And if you doubt this message, they drive it home when all the mirrors floating around Moxie and Mandy rearrange into a DNA double helix, where the duo run to the top and then slide down to the bottom, destroying the helix in a shimmering cascade of explosions. I am immediately reminded of a lyric from the band 14 Sacred Words. Is it white privilege to live without your own reflection? And I am made to ponder if the use of mirrors in this sequence had hidden meaning within themselves. Eventually, the ugly dolls learn the truth to their existence, that they are factory rejects, and the town was created by the original ugly doll, Ox, who learned the unspeakable truth. The town falls into a depression, and we see the ugly dolls no longer having fun, but are now suffering from depression, nihilism, and what deliberately resembles the post-World War I poverty and hardship. Instead of food fights, they are now starving and living off food rations, begging in the streets. Then Lou shows up. The ugly dolls learn that Ox and Lou know each other, and a battle ensues where Lou tosses Moxie, Ox, and Mandy into a different pipe. And it is at this point that we learn the unspeakable truth. Until Ox intervened and blocked the pipe off, sending the reject dolls down to Ugly Town. They were being sent to an oven. That all this time, Lou has been sending all the dolls that were not perfect to the oven to be incinerated to maintain his perfect world. The allegory that his world must only be a white world, and all others others must be wiped out of existence. This is a blatant projection of the Holocaust. After the ugly dolls make it out of the incinerator, they run the gauntlet. As expected, they battle Lou in the gauntlet and win. But Lou will not let them pass through the portal. He cannot allow any imperfect dolls to pass. And here we learn that Lou himself cannot pass through because Lou is a prototype. He was the first doll, the original doll. Dare I say, God's chosen doll. And in a rage, he shatters the portal. All the dolls subdue Lou and send him to the washing machine. But then they turn their attention to the shattered portal, and Moxie picks up a piece and places it in the portal, which we can now see is not a black void, but a black surface, and the pieces are shiny glass, which we can now see is not a black void, but a black surface, and the shiny pieces of glass are obviously pieces of mirror. And this mirror is rebuilt by the dolls to now depict an ugly doll and lights up, allowing the dolls to all go out into the real world and be united with their children. You see, the image that Vitruvian depicted of the ideal body of the European people has now been destroyed and replaced by a mosaic of all the other people. This final message is clear, that in order to find happiness, to be loved, for the world to move on, we must destroy the perfect white DNA and wipe out the white race from all existence. Ponder these words as you follow me on all social networks in the description. And remember, watch from the shadows and see the truth.